that the British models weren't that good. I'm ashamed to say it, but they were unreliable, poor quality, whereas the American ones were always so much better.
That man's over in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. And these better models he's referring to over here in these United States don't pertain to fashion, our form of government, or even tipping in a restaurant. He's talking about these things. Model trains. Our enthusiast here spoke to the Associated Press at the London Festival of Railway Modeling, which took place last weekend. Conveniently accessible by rail, of course. Described as one of the UK's biggest and best railway exhibitions, this event featured around 36 of the country's best model railways chosen by the Model Railway Club, which Guinness World Records has recognized as being the oldest model railway club in the world. As noted by the venue, this exhibition featured model railway layouts from the UK and beyond. And for some enthusiasts, like our man from before, it's the beyond that's capturing the imaginations of those dreaming up not an idyllic British railway across the scenic English countryside, but rather the Midwestern expanse of their former Atlantic colonies. Like this 32 by 16 foot representation of a fictional American Midwest.
And we all have a love for American trains in the club, and so all of us individually, we hadn't met then, all went over to American, and then I sort of joined the club and went, oh, you know, it's all American. And then other people came in, oh yeah, we love the American stuff.
Now that's not to say our hobbyists here have completely traded in small-scale British steel for whatever Vanderbilt here in the lower 48. Plenty of scale model locales at the show recreate the UK's golden age of steam and draw up memories of the country's Great Western Railway. But it's the popularity of American settings that seems to be nipping at their British counterparts' cabooses.
You do get a lot of die in the heart, especially Great Western people who, as they walk by, look in the other direction. They won't look because A, it's N-gauge, and B, it's American. But most people are interested.
Hence, even though our enthusiast here has been working with model trains since the age of 5, he switched from British to American some 40 years ago and appears to have purchased a one-way ticket.
It's in your blood, I think. Once it gets in your blood, that's it. It's that all of us, we're just train guys through and through, you know.
If I build something, a model of something that I don't know too much about, then I won't worry about getting the details right, and I will get on with building something.
That's a member of another model railroad group at the show, speaking before this model of Port Washington, a fictional version of the American West. And while some railway modelers prefer working on subjects that aren't historically accurate, which depending on your age can vary widely, it's easy to get lost down the rabbit hole of wanting to craft an accurate representation.
The result is that I'm now a member of the Burlington Route Historical Society in the United States, and I'm researching a prototype 5,000 or 7,000 miles away instead of 150 miles away. And is this progress? Well, I don't know.
The Burlington route was a historic Midwestern network here in the States, and building giant models like these requires a substantial amount of man-hours.
5,000 is probably a good estimate, but like all hobbies, you do it because you want to do it. You don't tend to worry too much about the time. And to some extent, if it's never finished, as a hobby, it doesn't really matter.
It certainly helps that this man's making the most of this railway modeling as part of his retirement. In fact, he's a former jet engineer who worked on the Concorde, which also happens to be retired.
I've dabbled with model aeroplanes, I dabble with model boats. One of the problems in model aeroplanes is you end up repairing them an awful lot. It's much more difficult to crash a model railway in a big way than it is just to crash a model aeroplane.
What you're looking at is model railway layout called Purgatory Peak. We called it that because it was very difficult to make, and we spent a lot of time, blood, sweat and tears, and that's where it got its name.
Yeah, it took model railroaders about 9 years to get Port Washington finished, and this other model rail club spent 6 years getting this Colorado-inspired, gold prospector-themed setting together. One of the model railroaders behind Purgatory Peak notes that he appreciates the creative freedom that American layouts offer, thanks to our country's sprawling geography and long railroad history.
We get a buzz from people coming around the corner because it's one of those layouts that you can't see over, you can't see around. And so people, you can hear when you're operating, people come around and say, wow, I haven't seen this before. And that's a real buzz.
While this model train show in London left the station last weekend, in case you're feeling an all-American inspiration to take it to the tracks, why not head over to the Hamilton Collection, a division of the Bradford Exchange, and pick yourself up the Barack Obama Express, the Donald Trump Express, or pre-order the Vice President Kamala Harris Express. Choo-choo!